Coming up on the show, graduate students and other members of the Southern Miss family hosted a rally for increase in pay. We will have more on that at the top of the show. Tay Reeves has been re-elected as governor. Stay tuned for more details on the election and what this means for Mississippi. Later on in the show, we will also give you the latest in USM sports. All of this and more on SMTV. SMTV News for Wednesday, November 15th starts now.
From the Chuck Scarborough Television Studio on the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi, this is SMTV News. News you can use.
Hello USM, and thank you for tuning in for another edition for SMTV. I am Amaya Norman. Here's our top news story for tonight. The American Association of University Professors at USM, in conjunction with the United Campus Workers, USM Staff Council, and the USM Faculty Senate, recently held rallies in support of the university-wide increase in employees' pay. The rally were held on the Hattiesburg and Gulf Park campus. The rally aimed to focus the attention of states' lawmakers and government leaders on the urgent need for a competitive pay increase at USM to recruit and retain high-quality faculty, staffs, and graduate workers. Compared to other regions, graduate workers are underpaid here at USM. Those who attended the rally said that their salary only covers rent, leaving them to find other sources of income for other necessities. Next, Republican Tay Reeves has won a second term as Mississippi governor. Reeves defeated his rival Democrat Brandon Presley. Many speculated this would be a tight election. Presley lost by a difference of about 4 to 5%. On the campaign trail, Reeves highlighted his strength as governor. He passed the largest tax cut in state history, increased teachers' pay, and lowered unemployment. Presley, in turn, Tay Reeves criticized Reeves for not supporting Medicaid expansion and for Reeves' handling of the welfare scandal. Presley's campaign focused on fighting corruption, expanding Medicaid, and cutting the grocery taxes. Hinds County had a small controversy after polling places ran out of ballots, which the Secretary of State blamed on redistricting issues. The Mississippi Association Broadcaster Day, better known as MAB Day, was held Tuesday, November 14th at Jackson State University. College students who are communication majors were able to attend the event, and students got the chance to networking with stations from different parts of Mississippi and go into breakout sessions of their choices to expand their knowledge about their avenues of studies of others they may have interest in. Speakers at the event included sports analysts, TVs and radio broadcast personalities, news directors, journalists, and many other professionals successful in their field. Senior students Mariam Howard from Jackson State University gave her take on MAB Day.
I expected it to be very eventful and very informational. I learned a lot about the field of journalism and the things that I want to do, especially some things that I thought I didn't want to do, like sales. They had a sales panel, and it made me think more outside of just news and broadcast stuff that.
Coming up next, all you need to know about upcoming sports event at Southern Miss.
House was hard.
But Wounded Warrior Project helps you realize it's possible to get out there.
To feel a sense of camaraderie again.
To find the tools to live life better.
Through generous community support, we've connected warriors and their families with no-cost physical and mental health services, legislative advocacy, career assistance, and life skill training for 20 years. And we're just getting started.
welcome to week 11 of 4th Street Sports. Here are some games our Golden Eagles have coming up. The Golden Eagles will be back in action this Saturday in Starksville, Mississippi, as they take on the Mississippi State's Bulldogs at 11 a.m. Spiking over onto the volleyball side of things, you can catch up the Ladies Eagles in action Thursday, November 16th at 7 p.m. in Foley, Alabama, as they take on Marshall in second rounds of the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. Bouncing over to men's basketball, the men's will be back in action today at 7 p.m. as they take on Xavier, Louisiana. And last but certainly not least, the Ladies Eagles basketball team will be back at it this Saturday, November 18th, as they will travel to Florence, Alabama to play North Alabama at 5 p.m. That's all for week 11, folks. Make sure to catch us back next Wednesday for our last show of the semester. Now I have the honoring to do a very special Golden Eagle Spotlight. Hello, fellow Golden Eagles, and welcome back to another episode of Golden Eagle Spotlight. I am your host, Amaya Norman, and on today's show, we have Director of Aerospace Studies and Commander of Air Force Reserve Officer Training, Corps Detachment 432. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Lieutenant Colonel Sheena Pule Ali. Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. And yourself?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to start off with that question. How many years have you served in the Air Force?
So I've been active duty Air Force for 18 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I only have 2 more years to go before I'm eligible to retire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about your experience in the Air Force?
Wow. So I don't even know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I could start with my career. I am an intelligence officer, and I've been doing that for 18 years. And my first duty station after school was at Kadena Air Base in Okinawa, Japan. Yes.
Okay, so tell us about the experience in Japan.
So in Japan, first of all, Japan was fantastic.
Really?
But my job there was intelligence support to all of the flying, the aircraft that were there. So we supported F-15s, we supported AWACS, helicopters, and heavies, the KC-135 specifically.
So can you tell us more of the job position that you do now?
So now, okay. So I am the Director of Aerospace Studies. That's my title for the university. But in the Air Force, my title is Commander of Detachment 432. So in this role, I am responsible for training and educating cadets who would like to serve their country in the Air Force or the Space Force. And so essentially, I just make sure that they learn all of the foundations of Air Force history, what is leadership. You can't be a good leader without following, right? So followership. And we just do that throughout their 4 years of college. And then upon graduation, they'll commission as a second lieutenant and go, you know, the world is their oyster. They'll go serve.
So do you have any advice for those that are interested in joining in the Air Force? You speak about leadership.
Yes.
So can you go more in details about the leadership that they need to have?
Oh, well, there are so many different things that people can say, well, this is a good leader. No,
Yes.
this is a good leader. But honestly, in my opinion, I think leadership is really about being open, listening to the folks that you are leading, and then being able to inspire, because these are going to be officers in the Air Force.
Yes.
You know, the dirty picture of it is one day we might go to war. So these officers need to inspire their airmen in order to serve in that capacity.
Yes, most definitely. Leadership is very much important.
Yes.
It's very much important. Okay, other question is, for example, well, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. So for those that are interested, what are some advice that you would give them, just say if they want to just join the Air Force?
Okay, So my advice, essentially, if they're here on college on the college campus, I would absolutely encourage them to join the Air Force ROTC program. They can join it. The first 2 years is non-committal. It's just kind of a way to see if they like the Air Force, if it's something for them. So join the ROTC program. That's my first advice. My second advice is for those that want to continue and actually commission as a second lieutenant. I would tell them to go outside of their comfort zone because that's the only way that you really grow and you learn about yourself and then you learn about the people that you're serving. So go outside of your comfort zone would be my second piece of advice.
Yes. What is the process do they have to go through in order to join the Air Force here?
Actually, it's a really easy process. For those that are interested, all they need to do is tell their academic advisor that they'd like to join the program. So they would just register for an aerospace studies academic course, and then they would have to register for the associated laboratory. So it's just 2 extra classes per semester for the rest of their college career. So that's the only extra academic requirement required of them.
And do you also tell us about the scholarship programs in the Air Force as well?
Oh, yes, scholarship. Everybody likes money. So, well, let me start off with high school scholarship program in case we've got viewers who have younger siblings. If you are a senior in high school, I would highly encourage folks to just go to AFROTC.com, AirForceROTC.com, and then there they can apply for a 4-year scholarship. For those that are currently in college, what we do is after your first 2 years in the program, if they do well, we send them to field training, which is like boot camp, right? So it's 2 weeks of field training at Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. Once they come back from field training, the Air Force will pay for their last 2 years of school.
Oh, so how long do they have to be in field training?
2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks?
Just 2 weeks. Yes.
That's great.
It is. And the field training program, the first week is designed to put these cadets in high stress situations and test what they've learned about leadership for the first 2 years in the program. The second week is all about fun, right? We put cadets in fighter training aircraft. We put them in helicopters to see if we can spark an interest. Like, hey, maybe that'll be like, maybe they want to be a pilot and they didn't know it until they were put in that aircraft. So we put them in those types of situations, and we give them a lot of mentorship in classroom, and it's a lot of fun. That second week is.
Ooh, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, and then the bonus is when they come back, they get their last 2 years paid for.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That sounds very much amazing.
Yes.
That sounds amazing. Lastly, I want to ask you, as being a woman in the Air Force, which is such a what is known like it's a man field, tell us about your challenges that you faced.
Well, I think I've been very lucky in my career. I don't feel like I've faced a lot of challenges based on my sex, but I do remember one particular scenario that kind of tipped me because I took over as an executive officer for a wing commander. So essentially, I ran the calendar for this person. I organized their travel. I mean, you name it. I was that person. The previous executive officer got to travel with the commander. And my first day, the commander told me, he said, I'm not going to take you with me because I don't want people to think that we're having an affair.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was
Wow.
like, well, I get that from his perspective because, you know, some people just...
Yeah.
Right. But also from my perspective, it was like, well, that's kind of not fair to me.
Yeah.
But other than that one moment, I don't feel like I've had a lot of challenges unique to being a female.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Lieutenant Colonel, for just coming on the show and sharing your experience and also giving advice to students that are interested in joining the Air Force. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, always remember, Golden Eagles to the top. Thank you so much for watching SMTV. Make sure to visit our social media page and like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Southern Miss Student Media. If you would like to submit a news tip, email us at sm2news@usm.edu. And always remember, fellow Golden Eagles, stay to the top.